Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike. Hold down the plus and minus buttons simultaneously to reach the settings menu. Scroll down and press the center button to select the battery lock page, and then press it once again to unlock and eject the battery. Place your hand below the battery to support it. Once the top end of the battery is disengaged, press the handle to release the battery and lift it out of the bike. Use a 5mm hex wrench to loosen and remove the kickstand mounting bolts. Remove the kickstand. Cut the zip tie securing the motor cable to the frame. Unthread the lock rings and disconnect the motor connection by pulling the two motor connection plugs apart. Use a 19mm socket to loosen and remove the axle nut and washer. Repeat these same steps on the non-drive side. Tilt the derailleur back and lift the rear wheel up and out of the dropouts of the frame. Note the position of the torque washers. Position a cassette lock ring tool in place and hold the cassette in place with the chain whip while turning the cassette lock ring tool counterclockwise. Remove the lock ring and then remove the cassette. Swap the cassette. Note the smaller spline on the free hub and the cassette gears. Position the cassette onto the free hub with the corresponding splines in the proper orientation. Position the smallest cog in the same manner. With a thin layer of grease on the threads, install the lock ring, turning clockwise. Snug it in place with the tire lock ring tool and torque it to 40 Nm. Remove the valve cap and press the valve core inward to release the air pressure completely. Press in the tire bead on all sides, and then use a tire tool to lift up the bead of the tire all the way around the upward-facing side. Remove the tube from the tire and then lift the tire off the wheel. Swap the tire and tube. Position the new tire onto the wheel, ensuring that the tire logo is aligned with the valve stem hole and the tread is in the proper rotational direction. Work the lower bead onto the wheel. Unroll the tube, attach a pump, and pre-inflate the tube just enough to allow it to take shape. Install the tube by first inserting the valve stem into the hole in the rim, and then work the tube into place around the wheel. Work the outer bead all the way around the rim. If possible, use only your hands, and if a tire tool is necessary, be careful not to damage the tube. Inflate the tire to the recommended pressure, around 30 psi, and ensure that the bead is fully seated all the way around the wheel on both sides. Replace the valve stem cap. Lift the derailleur back and guide the rear wheel back into the frame and ensure the axle fits fully into the dropouts of the frame. The motor cable should be aligned with the opening of the dropout. The non-drive side torque washer should be installed on the outside, facing toward the wheel with a tab in the opening of the dropout. The drive side torque washer will sit on the inside of the dropout. Reinstall the axle nut after each torque washer using a 19mm socket. Torque the rear axle nuts to 40 to 50 Newton meters. Reinstall the kickstand in 2 original bolts using a 5mm hex wrench. Torque the bolts to 9 to 12 Newton meters. Reconnect the motor cable connection by aligning the arrows on the plugs and firmly pressing the connection together. Fully thread the lock rings together until snug. Replace the zip tie to attach the cable to the frame. Trim the excess zip tie. Reinstall the battery by inserting the bottom first and pressing the top to lock it in place. Press and hold the center power button to power on the bike and test for proper function.